Welcome to the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report, presented by Yamaha.
Hello and welcome to the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report. I'm Lauren Bolander, and tonight Captain Jim Ross from our Central East region is joining us in studio tonight. Thanks for being here.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here.
It sure is. You know what else is a pleasure? Dave Farrell's at the workbench.
Yes, I am.
Yes, you are, Dave.
I'm just nothing but a pleasure at all times. We're going to talk about kids fishing.
That is right. Tonight it's all about kids and fishing. And Captain Jim, you know how important it is to get folks started early.
It's really important because the things that kids learn as very, very young children stay with them throughout their lives. And I'm so excited that we're getting a chance to talk about this. Every year we do this special feature, and it's one of the favorite shows of the year from all of the viewers that I've talked to. And hopefully tonight will be exactly the same way. Those guys are going to take their kids out, everybody's going to get excited, and everybody's going to have a great time. That's
right. We actually have a bunch of our viewers that are going to be right on the show with us because they're with Captain Rick Murphy hosting tonight from the IGFA for our Take a Kid Fishing Show. Hey, Rick.
You're right, Lauren. We're here at the IGFA, and I got 300 of my closest little friends. It's so awesome to be back here at the IGFA Museum in Dania, and I got to tell you, we've got a lot of cool things that we're going to be talking about. We've got Tom Dolan from the lottery, as well as some of the IGFA representatives. But more importantly, we got the Treasure Coast Casters, if I say that right, and also the Mahogany Group. We've got a whole group of kids, and I gotta say, what's so neat about this is to hear all the cool fish stories. This young man was just telling me about a big dolphin he and his little brother caught over the weekend, and they took him home and ate him. And you know what, guys? That's what this is about, the heritage of fishing, passing it on. And there's only one TV show that I know that can really do it like we do. And you know what, Lauren and Jim? That's us, the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report. And we're looking forward to sharing some great stuff from you guys right here from the IGFA Museum.
All right, guys, we do still have all 9 of our regional captains who want to share some stuff on their thoughts with kids and fishing. And we're going to start the night off in the Southeast region with Captain Jimbo Thomas. Captain Jimbo, with kiddies on board, it's all about keeping them entertained, right?
That's correct, and it's kind of tough keeping myself entertained a lot. But, yeah, we do get quite a few kids aboard the Thomas Flyer, and that trick is to keep them entertained because most of them are going to get bored very quickly unless the bite is on. Now, what we commonly do when we have kids aboard and we just want to bend the rod is anchor up on the shallow patch reefs anywhere from Key Biscayne south to Soldier's Key, but any patch reef throughout the region is going to work. And then we fish with live or fresh dead shrimp. Usually we can keep everybody occupied catching grunts, porgies, small snappers, jacks, and other assorted reef fish. If you don't have your own boat, another great way to get the kids out on the water for a fairly reasonable price is on one of the many party fishing boats or fishing piers throughout the region. Now, usually the party boats, they'll supply the tackle, and most of the piers, they'll have some rental equipment. Otherwise, you can get a starter rod and reel fairly cheap at any of the local tackle shops. Now, I grew up fishing the local lakes and canals of South Dade for brim and bass, and those are all great places to fish still. And I always found that a bread ball was the best bait for brim, and for bass, we like to use grape jelly worms. Now, I don't know if they still make those grape jelly worms, but I remember I had bags of those suckers. But now, regardless of where you fish, it's always a great way to spend some time with your son or your daughter. Now, staying inshore, the snook fishing has been excellent in the inlets from Boca north to Lake Worth Inlet, and the inlet south to Government Cut. The fishing has just been good. But the problem has been finding live bait in the north end, and we've had plenty of bait to the south. Captain Danny Barrow says that it's been easier to catch the snook than the bait. With the baits that he has been finding, he's been drifting them through the inlets using a Jupiter rig on the outgoing tide. They've been biting throughout the day, but the evenings have definitely been the most productive. And also, fishing the dock and bridge lights of the Intercoastal has been good using topwater lures and live baits, also on the outgoing tide. Now, we got a picture here. And I talk about Danny Barrow catching big snook all the time, and this guy puts his clients on just trophy-sized snook on a regular basis. I know that Rick caught a big one with him last year. Well, this is a picture of a 45-inch snook, and he was estimated around 25 to 30 pounds, and he was caught by 12-year-old Jonathan Malove, and he was fishing with his dad on Father's Day in the Lake Worth Lagoon with Captain Danny Barrow. That's a nice snook there. Now moving offshore, the dolphin fishing has picked up in the last week, and we've been finding some big schools of fish 8 to 15 miles offshore. But the problem is that a lot of these fish are on the small side. We've been picking through the fish, and we've been keeping the legal fish, which is 20 inches to the fork, and then tagging and releasing the short ones. And when you hit a school, the larger fish are typically going to eat first because they're usually the more aggressive, and they're in the lead of the school. That's why they're obviously bigger. And then once the size starts to shrink, we move on and we look for another school. Most of the schools have been under birds and scattered sargassum weed, and they've been traveling to the south fairly fast. They haven't been too finicky when we do find them. We've been using small live pilchers and cup bonita for bait. And there's also been a few larger fish caught under frigate birds and debris, but you just have to get lucky finding those bigger fish. Now, staying offshore, fishing along the edge of the Gulf Stream has been pretty good for sailfish. From Palm Beach south to Miami, there's been good north current and decent color water. And anytime those conditions are good along the edge, the fishing is generally going to be good too. So hopefully that the north current and that blue water keeps up. Tight fishing when we have enough wind, or drifting and slow trolling live herrings and pilchards in 120 to 300 feet of water has been the best plan of attack. And there's also been a few kingfish and blackfin tunas caught in the same depth.
Well, thanks, Jimbo. It sounds like you got a really good mixed bag offshore, even though those sailfish and dolphin are your two primary species, so the guys and gals should be able to get out there. Here's your sports grill hotspots for the southeast region. Inshore, Jimbo says you need to fish the inlets with live baits and crabs for the snook and the tarpon that are there. And offshore, you want to troll small lures or feathers in search of school dolphin.
All right, guys, in the Central West, Captain Jeff Page, you say there's quite a lot of organized activity in your region. Tell us what you have going on.
Hey, Jim and Lauren, we have a lot of kids stuff that goes on here in the West Central region, and a lot of kids that enjoy the sport of fishing. And now that school's out, we have a lot of organized activities and a lot of easily accessible areas for the young people that they can get involved in, starting with summer camps at the Moat Marine Laboratory. And that teaches kids not only about fishing, but hands-on about all marine life and estuaries. And they go out and they throw cast nets and they pull seine nets and they take them through the grass flats and oyster bars, and it's just really good. And they can get more information on that from moatmarine.org. Also, it's located on City Island in Sarasota, which is just between Lido Beach and Longboat Key. Also down the fishing pier in Venice has daily activities for kids, and it's down there in South Venice, right next to Sharky's Restaurant. They have the fishing pier there. We also have kid fishing seminars at Economy Tackle this summer. We're going to start those up in July. As far as getting out and bending a rod, it's hard to beat any of our public beaches, which some of them are located even in the bays, where they not only in the bays but also in the middle of the Gulf beaches. Simple rod and reels is all a kid needs. A little bit of split shot weights, maybe a small hook, some shrimp, some squid, and you also teach a kid how to throw a cast net or trap crabs in a crab trap or a pinfish trap when you're fishing. Remember, like Johnny Walker says, he's one of our oldest fishing guides in the West Central region. He says that take a kid fishing because someday you might need him to take you fishing.
Boy, isn't that the truth, Jeff? And you got a photo?
I've got a couple photos tonight. One of the tarpon that the boys caught, and they're measuring his girth and his length, and it actually won them third place in the first annual White Buffalo Tarpon Tournament, which was all ages. It was not a kids' tournament, and these kids won a couple $1,000s for third place. The second picture is the kids with their check, and left to right is Grant Setzma, and then in the middle is Nicky Malone, and third over on the right is Kai McLeod. And those boys went out on their own with no help from their dads or anything and caught that big tarpon.
Man, that is absolutely awesome. Congratulations to those kids for doing that. And Jeff, you've got some nice inshore stuff too, or offshore stuff.
Staying inshore. I heard Jimbo say it, and I'm saying it too. The snook fishing's been off the chain. Lots of catch and release snook in all of our passes and inlets, and also along the beaches from Gasparilla Pass north to Egmont Key. The tides this week are perfect for some good afternoon outgoing tide fishing. What you're going to want to do is Go out, take your time, catch you some pilchards or some small sand brim. A lot of people overlook that sand brim, Jimmy, but he's a really good bait. Free line him on a 2 or 3/0 circle hook with light fluorocarbon leader and fish that outgoing tide in the passes and along the beaches. As for you artificial guys, you can walk the beach in the morning or in the afternoon. Don't be afraid of the sea breeze. Sometimes they bite better when there's a little chop there. And you can either bounce saltwater assassin sea shads in the violet moon pattern or throw DOA glow shrimp in the 1/4 ounce pattern and throw it up parallel to the beach and bring it back. And a lot of times you will see the fish, so try and lead them and not run the line over them. I have a picture tonight of a nice snook that some guys caught with me the other day. Steve Long of Winter Haven. He's friends with Mitch Gurr from Marine Supply of Winter Haven, and they were out with me the other day, and we caught, that's the biggest one we got out of many.
That's a good one, Jeffrey.
All right,
and
rolling offshore.
And quickly, you've got some offshore stuff.
Yep. Red snapper. The red snapper bite continues in the consistent, very good keepers in the 120 to 140 feet of water in the entire region. Fish cut sardines or live pinfish for best results. Species 2, permits. I've been getting reports from guys down south and up north. Permit fishing's been really predictable in the artificial reefs in the 7 to 11 mile range. Get out early while the winds are down. Look for the fish finning on top. Take your small pass crabs that you can dip this week in the outgoing tides in the passes. Throw those small free-line crabs ahead of the schools of fish. Let them drift back in, and the permits are averaging 12 to 20 pounds.
Wow, Jeffrey, that's an awesome report. The guys in the Startron region are going to really, really like the hot spots you have for them, too, so I'm going to take that away next. Redfish around the mangroves and oyster bars during the higher stages of the tide. You want to use chunk ladyfish or chunk pinfish in Lemon Bay or Palmasola Bay. And then offshore, mangrove snapper. You want to fish the full moon, nighttime snapper bite over the wrecks and ledges in about 60 feet of water. Your best baits are going to be live pinfish or shrimp for the big mangrove snapper.
Okay, guys, stay with us. On the other side of the break, we head to the Florida Keys. Plus, Dave will have new products shortly from the workbench, and Rick has more from the IGFA.
You got it. I got to tell you, I'm in sensory overload with all these kids. And there's one thing I can say, Jeff Mackin and I are going to be back when we get back from this break, and we're going to talk about the cool things that the IGFA is doing throughout their educational programs. Stay tuned with us.
The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by the Florida Lottery, Yeti Coolers, wildly stronger, keep ice longer, best parts, best prices, Bennett Auto Supply, Captain Harry's Fishing Supply Company, Chevy, the IGFA, conservation through education, get your hands wet, and Olukai.
Listen, this Chevy Silverado is not happy. It's not happy because it's not doing anything, because it knows you have a to-do list with unchecked boxes, because it was built to constantly be on the prowl to get more done. Patience is not the Silverado's virtue. Doing is. The dependable, reliable Chevy Silverado.
It's 200 streamlined horsepower of Yamaha forward thinking. The all-new F200 inline 4-stroke. Whether you're an offshore angler, pontoon cruiser, bay boater, or walleye hunter, the responsive and fuel-efficient F200 combines amazing power and versatility in one incredibly compact and lightweight package. The all-new F200. Legendary Yamaha reliability and the freedom of forward thinking.
For over 30 years, Guy Harvey has masterfully captured the wonder of marine wildlife in his artwork. Now he's sharing his inspiration with the Florida Lottery by creating 12 exclusive images for the Collector Series Guy Harvey Scratch-Off game, featuring a top prize of $50,000 and a second chance opportunity to fish with Guy Harvey himself. Celebrate the beauty and riches of Florida with Guy Harvey Scratch-Off games today. The Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
Deep within Key Largo, you'll see things that may surprise you. From the unspoiled wilderness of the Florida Everglades to the tranquility of John Pennekamp State Park. Look below the surface, and you'll find more depth in Key Largo.
Now let's go over our news and notes from the FWC. June 22nd is the Women's Fishing Clinic in West Palm, and June 29th is the Kids Fishing Clinic in Cape Canaveral. You can find more information at myfwc.com. Now let's head back over to Rick at the IGFA.
You gotta tell you, Lauren, it's great to be here at the IGFA. As you know, it's great being here. I'm with Jeff Mackin, the educational director here at the museum. Jeff, tell us what the IGFA really likes to do here.
Well, the IGFA, the Fishing Hall of Fame Museum, where we're based out of right now is here in Dania Beach, Florida. We're just south of the airport here, just south of Fort Lauderdale, right on 95, so we're easy to get to. And this is a great facility, especially for families. It's a 60,000 square foot facility, absolutely beautiful. You can see as you come in through here, you can see all the records hanging up, but we're so much more than world records. That's what we're most known for. But here in the Fishing Hall of Fame, we have programs designed for kids, for adults, for families, a lot of great stuff.
So let's talk a little bit about this kids program. I know you have a youth kids camp, Jeff. Tell me about that.
We do. We've actually just kicked off our summer camp. We have fishing, it's a fishing camp, but we also have marine science weeks. But we take kids on all kinds of outdoor adventures into the coastal environment, we take them snorkeling, fishing on a drift boat, a lot of great stuff.
Now, if a kid wants to register for that program, how do they go about doing that?
They can go to igfa.org, the website. You can find all the paperwork online. You can give us a call. And we're also going to be raffling off a free week of camp tonight as well. It's one lucky kid here at the event.
Now, Jeff, one of the most popular things here at the museum is certainly the simulator room. Why is it that the kids gravitate towards that?
Well, even if the weather's bad outside, you can still fish here at the IGFA. It's just like fishing. You go in there and it's like a video game, but it's like real fishing because you actually get a fishing rod and you fight what feels like really like a real fish. It's a great time.
So tell me about the different species that they can catch in there.
Yeah, some people like to catch saltwater fish, some people like freshwater. We've got largemouth bass, trout, tarpon, sailfish, and blue marlin.
I can tell you in the past, we've had the touch tank, certainly very popular with the kids. The other programs that come to mind that IGFA is doing, kid-related, not kid-related, what else do we want to tell our viewers about the museum and what we're doing?
The touch tank is our most popular programs that we offer, but we've got a whole host of programs running the gamut from fish dissections that we do with schools or chemistry. We have fishing clinics where we actually get to fish here on site. And we also do family fishing clinics as well, free fishing clinics. A lot of great programs we do here.
Well, Jeff, thanks for having us here. All of my 300 closest friends.
Yep.
And Lauren, Jim, there's one thing that I want to say after being here. God bless school teachers, if you know what I mean. You guys take it away.
I think we do know what you mean.
I know exactly what you mean. I have a quick question though, Rick. How old do you have to be able to sign up for that kids clinic? Because I want to go.
We'll have Rick tweet that to us in the break, right?
Nice.
Yeah, all right, okay. We're gonna move on now to our La Jolla region down in the Florida Keys. That's where we find Captain Randy Towle. Randy, the Keys are such a classic destination for families looking for good fishing. Tell us what you guys have to offer.
Hey guys, good evening. You know, for years I talk to people that come down to the Keys and they always say, I came here with my family 10 years ago, 20 years ago when I was a kid. I remember my Keys trip. And it's such a great place for kids to come down and experience the great fishing, the diving, the things that it has to offer, unlike the city with shopping and movies and things like that. So down here, whether it's the backcountry to get into redfish and snook if you're flats fishing, or the offshore if you want to look for some dolphin or sailfish, it's taking a kid fishing, spending that quality time with them that they really will never forget, and it's something that they talk about their entire life. I've had guys on the boat that are 40 years old that talk about when they were teenagers coming down with their parents, and it's a great thing for me to have people like that on the boat and show them a great time. I've got a photo of young Jake Alexander with an 18-pound mutton snapper. Now, this is a perfect example. He was down with his family fishing on one of their family trips. He's going to talk about that fish his entire life.
No doubt, Randy. You know, you guys have tarpon, and I'm kind of jealous because they really haven't showed up in the Central East region, but you guys have got them good until this week, so that maybe they're coming my way.
You know what? We had them good, and then they went off, and it's really been kind of on and off, on and off. Right now, this week has been pretty good. They've shown up a little bit better than they have lately. We had a little worm hatch there on that new moon, and I think a lot of the fish kind of disappeared, but it's been good this week. The guys, I use the barometer of the bridges and the ocean flats for guys, you know, telling me about what they're seeing and what they're catching. Now, around the bridges, there's still plenty of tarpon hanging out there. Guys with live crabs, live mullet, if you can get it, has been working really good. And then when the tide starts to fall, a lot of these tarpon will come out of these bridges, and they'll swim along some of the offshore flats outside of these bridges for the fly fishing guys. That's what they really look forward to, is to be able to sight cast with a fly rod to these fish coming out of the bridges around here. Captain Greg Poland, good friend of mine, he's been having some great fishing with bait. He's been using live mullet and also pinfish and crabs that he's been getting himself, and having some pretty good fishing here right around close to home and also around the Flamingo area.
And for your offshore species, it looks like it's a pretty good time for the kids to go fishing offshore of the Keys as well.
You know, yellowtailing's perfect for the Keys. Kids love the action. They want, you know, they want something happening pretty quickly and pretty steady. And the yellowtail bite's been great. You're going to want to have some chum, 25-pound block. You're going to want to start with a big whole chum bag and some horse oats, some oats that you throw in the water. And what you're trying to do is get these fish up near the surface so you can start fishing for them. And when the fish come up, you can see them, and it's a lot of visual when you're anchoring down for these yellowtails, and kids love it, and they're good at it. They get a bite, they turn the handle, they catch these fish. They're great eating, and it's good action for them. I do a lot of that this time of year, and it's great for taking kids to do that. Now, offshore fishing, the dolphin bite, we've had a great bite of dolphin for the last week. They've really come on strong. If you want small fish, they've been in shallow, 300, 400 feet. Any birds that you find have been holding dolphin. Now, some of these dolphin have been on the small side where you had to measure them to see if they're legal to keep. So as you get deeper, you're finding some bigger fish. And what's happening now, a lot of times you get in a school of a small dolphin and a 30 or 40 pounder will swim up. So you want to be sure that when you're catching those little dolphin, you've got a rod ready in case that big fish swims up alongside the boat. I've got a photo of Diane Fisk with a nice bull dolphin she caught with me last weekend.
Oh, that's a fantastic bull dolphin, Randy. You know, speaking of those yellowtail, Lauren, we can take those things back to La Jolla and put them on the grill. That's some good stuff. Hey, thanks, Randy. Great report. We're going to take your hot spots from here, buddy. Hot spots for the Florida Keys region from Captain Randy Tao. You need to check out the redfish bite on the beginning of the incoming tide along the Mangrove Islands, and you need to use live pinfish on a 1/4 ounce hookup jig. And then offshore, check out the dolphin bite. You want to look for birds in 300 to 800 feet of water. Randy says troll with ballyhoo to the south, and as you're looking for the birds working, you need to have a spinning rod ready just in case you need to pitch bait one that's underneath one of those birds when they're coming up and busting.
I tell you what, you let me know when you're on the grill and I will be there.
I'm telling you, I love the grill.
Okay, now it's time to check in and see what tournaments are going on in the Keys. First off, scheduled for June 28th and 29th in Key West is the Mercury Marine Ladies Dolphin Championship. More than $10,000 in cash and prizes is up for grabs, and it benefits the Jose Wahebe Foundation. Next, it's the 13th annual Dolphin and Blackfin Tuna Fun Fishing Tournament on June 29th and 30th in Marathon. Awards go to the anglers who catch the 3 heaviest dolphin, as well as blackfin tuna and wahoo. Also, the highest combined weight of the 3 dolphin will get you top prize at the IFC Junior Dolphin Tournament in Isla Mirada. It all takes place on July 7th and is only open to anglers 18 and under. At the Isla Mirada Dolphin Tournament, some $15,000 in cash and prizes is up for grabs. The event is scheduled for July 12th through the 14th and is hosted by the Isla Morada Charter Boat Association. And last, the Drambuie Key West Marlin Tournament is set for July 17th through the 20th. The competition guarantees a $50,000 cash prize purse with $25,000 awarded to the first place team. That is a lot of dough they're handing out.
That's a lot of cha-ching.
Now let's check in with Andy Newman in the Florida Keys to hear about this week's featured tournament. Hey, Andy.
Well, hi guys. The Dale Brown Permit Tournament is scheduled for July 14th to the 17th in Key West. Now, this contest honors its namesake, who caught and released more than 500 permit on fly before he died. That's an amazing feat. Now, I have a photo of last year's winner. This is Tony Nobregas. He's showing his winning permit caught and released on fly, of course. For more information on the Dale Brown Permit Tournament, go to dalebrown.com. And for more details on all tournaments and events in the Florida Keys, head on over to flakeys.com. Now back to you guys in the studio.
Okay, Andy, thanks a lot. When we return, we're going to check in with Jeff Hageman in the Northwest and Mike Holliday in the East. And Rick has much more from the IGFA.
Well, thank you, Lauren. And I got to tell you, when we come back to the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report, Tom Dolan's going to bring us up to speed on how well the Guy Harvey lottery ticket's going. Guys, in order to find out, you got to stay tuned.
The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Yamaha. Reliability starts here. Guy Harvey Clothing by AFTCO. Bass Assassin and Saltwater Assassin. The best lures, period. Blue Water Outriggers. Everything for your outdoor adventures. Croquis, made in the USA. Drummond Community Bank. Costa. See what's out there. And Lumber Rock.
It's got the punch of a heavyweight and the pounds of a lightweight. Welcome to the main event featuring the new Yamaha 4-stroke F70. Tipping the scales at up to 142 pounds lighter than its 4-stroke competitors. That's a class-leading power-to-weight ratio, a haymaker of a whole shot, surprising mid-range punch, incredible fuel economy, and industry-leading innovation, performance, and reliability. The Yamaha 4-stroke F70. Reliability starts here.
At highway speeds, things can get pretty windy. That's why the Chevrolet Cruze Eco has active aero grille shutters that close at higher speeds to improve aerodynamics. With an EPA estimated 42 miles per gallon highway, the Chevrolet Cruze Eco offers the best highway fuel economy of any gas engine in America. Always thinking of ways to give you more while using less. That's American ingenuity to find new roads.
What is CCA? CCA has been representing recreational fishermen for over 25 years, and when your rights to fish are threatened, the CCA is there to make sure government regulators are making sound decisions. I'm a life member of CCA, and when fishery decisions are being made, the CCA in the room is fighting for our recreational rights. We need to give our kids the same opportunities to fish as we did. Do what I did. Go to ccaflorida.org and join for only $25 so you can protect your recreational angling rights.
Continuing the revolution. Faster, drier, even better built. Designed around Yamaha's latest technology outboards. Still built by the same craftsmen and anglers who launched the Bay Boat Revolution. Whether chasing world records, or time on the water with the family, or anything in between, there's a new Pathfinder model for you. Pathfinder, #1 for a reason, still.